All right, here we go. Hey guys, how's everybody doing tonight? I'm your host, Carlito Castro, and thank you all for coming. I know I'm a little late, sorry, but I was talking to Doug backstage, and we were kind of, sharing thoughts about things and how to go about doing the show tonight. But he's here, he's backstage. I have him backstage. I'll bring him on in just a second. And welcome back to Cryptid and Paranormal Kingdom with Carlito and Tom. Thank you for being here tonight, guys. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. Tonight's going to be a big one. For me, at least, it's going to be very big. And because this gentleman that's here tonight, Doug Hajicek, who needs no introduction, by the way, but he's a big time producer for History Channel's Monsterquest show, which was one of my favorite channels growing up, since I don't know, maybe 10 something some odd years ago. But it's a great show. I'm pretty sure all of you have seen that once in a while. I haven't backstage, guys, but first of all, I'd like to thank everybody that showed support yesterday, which was our 2-year anniversary, guys. Yay, 2-year anniversary. That's great, guys. And thank you, everybody, for supporting the channel, supporting the Facebook group. And thank you for all your congrats yesterday for the group, for the Facebook group. And 2 years, guys. It went by like nothing, right? Well, to us, it seems, at least. Me and Tom and the guys. But thank you, guys. Thank you. And we're looking forward to many, many more years. And actually, Doug just told me that the first 2 years are the hardest. And I believe that because they go by so, after the 2 years, you're pretty much set. Because if you could take the first 2 years, which is the hardest, because, it's getting all the members on your group or your page or your channel, then yeah. But and by the way, thank you, guys. We're at 805 on the channel, on the YouTube channel, and the anniversary for that is somewhere in May. So that's going to be our second anniversary in the channel as well. So stick around for that, guys, and I'm going to try to do something special for that time for the YouTube channel. Maybe have some shirts or hats or something, stickers, something with the with the channel, with the logo, CPK logo or something like that. Thank you very much. I'm kind of going through some ideas right now, and hopefully everything will turn out great. All right, well, without further ado, I'm gonna bring the legend, Doug Hajicek. I think that's the way you say it. I'm gonna ask him right now. Hey, Doug, how you doing, brother?
Hey, Carlito.
How you doing, sir?
Just Hajicek.
Hajicek? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because I was wondering if Hajicek or Hajicek.
Although you are actually pronouncing it correctly.
Right, because I believe I've met someone like that before.
You are actually pronouncing it correctly, but I pronounce it Hajicek.
Hajicek. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you and welcome. Thank you for being here tonight, Doug.
That's
First
my
of all,
pleasure.
yes.
What else is there to do on a Saturday night?
On a Saturday night. Yeah, like I was telling the chat right now, man. It's an honor to have you here tonight, man. Because I've been a big fan of yours for a long time, and fan of your show, Monsterquest, for a very long time.
Thanks.
That kind of really. I believed in Bigfoot and Dogman and all that way before, but when I found your show, that kind of reinforced my beliefs because of the facts and all the interesting things that you put out on your show.
Yeah. Which
there's a lot of Bigfoot shows. I've seen there's multiple Bigfoot shows for and I think there's one or two, maybe two Dogman shows for Monsterquest.
Yeah, Bigfoot's
I've seen them
favorite.
all.
It's my favorite topic.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got people here. I'd like to bring up the comments on the chat, Doug. So I'm gonna start bringing in some comments, okay, on screen, and we'll go ahead and start the show. Hey guys, I see a lot of people are already here. I see Tom's on there, Al, Santa Riga, okay, Nana, Country Boy Cryptids, West Coast Dogman Project. Shane, how you doing, buddy? Welcome here tonight, guys, and Doug's gonna be here to answer all of y'all's questions tonight, man, including mine. I have a couple of them, so yeah.
Yeah, I see Shane is in here. Shane Crisp. Shane Michael Crisp. Yeah.
Shane Michael Crisp. Yeah. He's director of NADP Region 1, which is the West Coast side. Yeah, and he has his own show as well, West Coast Dogman Productions. So does Tom, my good buddy, and Amano. He's got his own show, North Carolina. Well, actually, we started together, me and Tom, but then he started his own show. And he's still with me, but he does more his own show than mine. He just comes on my show every once in a while. His group is called North Carolina Cryptid and Paranormal Project. What's up, Tommy? And welcome everybody here. Chris Deems from Country Boy Cryptids. And Al Santoriga, I think I mentioned already. Yes, okay. And I'm sorry if I missed you guys, but yeah, we got to get the show started. Thank you all who I mentioned for being here, early birds. Thank you. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and get started. Doug, I'd like to ask you if you can give us a brief bio on yourself. Doug, I know a lot of people know you, but we'll just go ahead and do it anyway.
Sure.
If that's okay with you.
Yeah, I mean, I started out actually at a very young age, quitting high school, because I actually had an invention I wanted to do. And I knew if I could do that, could do what I wanted to do then. So that's what I did. I quit school, and I started working on this polymer. And it took me, I don't know, probably 8 years to really get it going where I was supported, where I could actually retire 8 years after I started. And I got it done, and it was a success, and still is to this day. And that allowed me to go into wildlife research, where I could be out just filming wildlife and doing wildlife studies. And then I got into TV about 1985, doing a wildlife show. Started a show. It's still on the air to this day, which is cool. The host is now retired, and his daughter took over. So my first show is still going after, God, how many years has it been? 36 years. So, yeah, I'm proud of that. And then I went on to work for like Wild About Animals with Steve Rotfeld Productions, which was a nationally syndicated show. And then I started working for Discovery Channel doing, I did like Legend Meet Science. But it all started because we were up in the Arctic. And I was up there just doing a wildlife study on trying to get footage of giant lake trout.
Right.
Because I had seen in a prior trip a 6-foot lake trout. You can imagine a lake trout 6 foot long that was swimming in this gin clear water, coming after a 30-pound trout that I was reeling in, which would have been about, between 41 and 48 inches. So this huge thing came up, and I thought it was a man swimming in the water. So at that point, I arranged another trip with a fisheries biologist to go up try to get footage. And we were up on that trip, and lo and behold, we went to take a potty break on shore, and we found our own footprints. Came up out of the water, shallow water, into the sand, into the pea gravel, and then in front of if you can imagine a 7-foot tall tree, there was one footprint in front of the tree and one directly behind it. That means it stepped over the tree, Carlito.
Wow.
And you can imagine that was, for me, as, somebody who was, pretty good at tracking and thinking something made this. And you got to remember, we were 1,500 miles from the nearest road at that time. There was nothing. 6.5 hour float plane ride.
Right.
Oh, yeah, you can't even comprehend how deep we were.
Wow.
So you knew, it wasn't a hoaxer. And I knew bear tracks. I knew it wasn't double-step tracks. Besides that, a polar bear isn't going to step over a tree.
Right,
and so I came back, and I couldn't get out of my head. And I think pretty soon after I got home, this is like 1991, I got a hold of Matt Moneymaker in 91. Wow. And me and Matt hit it off, and we were talking, and next thing you know, he's flying up to see me, and we're trying to do it. We decided to do a documentary, which was Legend Meet Science. And If you haven't seen it, it is available on Amazon. People still love that doc, which is crazy. Right. But it does go into all the science of, the first to talk about dermal ridges. But what people love about Legend Meets Science is every conclusion by every scientist actually is solid pro Bigfoot at the end. It's no wishy-washy crap. Mm-hmm. So after that aired, then we went on to pitch a TV series.
Well, can I ask you one question? Just retract on that real quick,
absolutely.
Doug. How big were those footprints that you found?
Oh, they were about 16 inches.
Wow.
And they were deep.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Well, I can finish that story really quick. So,
yeah.
Right away, when we all realized it stepped over the tree, one of the guys in our party, he goes, "We need to go now. Like, we need to leave right away."
I bet, yeah.
Because it freaked the people out that we were with, and they realized these tracks were fresh.
Right. So it was around the vicinity then, if they were fresh, right?
Yeah, they were fresh. And then, so I said, no, let's go beyond these trees. I'm curious where they go. So we went past the trees, which is probably maybe 30 trees is all. Because up there, the trees don't grow. They're stunted. It's kind of at the tree line in the Arctic. So we went beyond the trees, and there you could see off into the horizon, way off into the horizon, these footprints in the lichen, the moss.
Right.
I was hooked at that point. I was like, so we tried to get the float plane guy. The pilot was there.
It was like finding gold for you, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Well, it was life-changing. Changed not only my life, but a lot of people's lives. Just because I had to pee.
Right.
Yeah, I was joking, Meldrum. I'm like, we were at a conference, and I was joking, and I said, if I wouldn't have had to pee, Jeff, you wouldn't be so famous. So anyhow, that was a joke. But we get back and meet up with Matt Moneymaker. We did get Legend Meets Science, which was a big hit on Discovery, and then we pitched Mysterious Encounters, which we did get. And we did one season, which is really very similar to Finding Bigfoot. Matt was in there. Even Bobo was in that series. We had same backpacks, all sorts of things. A lot of science. Somebody pirated. There's a bunch of Mysterious Encounters episodes up on YouTube. So you can find those. They're kind of fun to watch because, they're way back, 99. So you get an idea of some of the technology we were using back then. We even had drones. But they had wings on them. They weren't the little copters.
Right.
They were these big, huge, flying drones.
Right.
We had helium balloons with thermal cameras. We had all sorts of cool stuff. But then kind of just kept going on. And eventually I was pitching Giganto, the Real King Kong, to History and some other. And they kept, everybody kept turning it down because it was called just Giganto. Then when I added the name The Real King Kong, sold right away to History Channel. They bought it. I produced it. It aired. They called me up the next day after the overnight ratings, which had broke all their records because it was the highest rated show they had ever aired. And they called me up and they go, "Can you do more of these?"
Wow.
And I'm like, that took like 1 second to think about that. Well, let me think.
Right.
Yeah, okay, So, and that was Monsterquest at that point. So that's kind of what happened. Obviously, there's a whole lot of stuff in between all that.
In between, and after
but that's the fun stuff.
Right. Hey, Doug, I got a question from a really good friend of ours. It's Al Santoriga. He's 30 plus years in the field as well. He's a very knowledgeable guy. He's kind of like our mentor, me and my buddy Tom. And he's shown us a lot, taught us a lot, and he's got this question here tonight. That's why I want to, give a special shout out to Al. Thank you, Al. His question is, how high was the downed tree? It
wasn't downed.
Nope.
That's what's fun. No, it was standing up.
What?
No, it stepped over a 7-foot tree.
What?
Now you understand why the one guy goes,
okay, I thought
we need to go. No, it stepped over a tree.
Whoa.
That means that thing was 10 foot tall or bigger.
Wow.
And remember, these are stunted trees, maybe a 2.5 to 3 inch, tree, diameter tree. So it's still flexible. But still, you or I would never think of stepping over a 7-foot we're going to walk around it.
Right.
It made a beeline.
Wow.
Yeah, that's when it's mind-blowing. Yeah. If it wasn't for that tree, I may have come back and not been so blown away.
And what kind of tree was it? Like a palm tree?
It was a black spruce tree. Black
okay.
spruce.
Okay.
You can look it up on the internet and see what a black spruce tree is.
Okay, I'm going to have to look that up.
Yep.
Wow,
Stunted black spruce tree. Yep.
Wow, that's amazing.
So we went. So just to finish that story, we went back to the camp, which was like a 20-mile boat ride. And we call it the butt slap ride because you're going over these big waves in a little 14-foot aluminum boat, and you're just getting pounded in that thing. So we get back to the base camp, which at that time was all just tents that we had set up. And the pilot was there, and we asked him to take us up in the float plane because I figured we could follow those tracks from the air. I had a broadcast quality camera with me, and we could see whatever it was. It couldn't hide in the undercover. He thought we were playing a joke on him, like a camp joke, that everybody was in on it but him. And he got really angry and threw his clipboard against the side wall of the tent, and we just kind of backed off. And I regret to this day not going back, trying to convince him that this was not some joke.
Right, because normally y'all do play pranks on each other when you're out there, right?
That's a big thing when you go to these camps, these expeditions, and it's just kind of a thing. Like I've played a million pranks on Matt Moneymaker. It's just what you do to break the tension.
Right, exactly.
In the morning or whenever, you got to play pranks on each other.
Sounds fun,
but this was not a prank that we were playing on that guy. So he was, absolutely convinced the whole camp was in on it, and we were all going to make a fool out of him, and blah, 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 blah. No, but I really do have regrets. Because I think there's no way that thing could have hidden. There was no place to hide.
Right.
The tundra is like an open field.
Right.
I think it was up there hunting. The caribou were calving at that time.
Where was this lake that you mentioned?
It's called Selwyn Lake.
Okay.
Selwyn. If you want to find it, find Uranium City in very northern border of Saskatchewan and Northwest Territories, and then kind of go northeast, and you'll find Selwyn Lake.
Okay.
So the nearest abandoned town is Uranium City.
Wow.
Which was abandoned at that time.
Abandoned. Man, I love watching abandoned towns on YouTube.
Yeah. So that's kind of where it is. But it's a big lake. Selwyn Lake's huge. It's like 70 miles across.
Right.
So it's big. Some of the lakes up in the Arctic are huge. But the fishing, you don't think anything of catching 4-foot-long lake trout all day long, which is why we were up there. We weren't up there for Bigfoot. So if anybody wants to spend 10 grand and go up to Selwyn Lake and do research, there you
go. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, big money to get up there.
Wow, that's so cool. Hey, Doug, and my main question is what I want to ask you tonight. Do you think about maybe working on another show for Monsterquest or for history, for that matter?
Yeah, I do. It's been tough because I've always had network support. And after Monsterquest, I've literally landed nothing. I have pitched a few things. They've come close. And they keep throwing consulting jobs at me. I've done a lot of consulting jobs for history. I've worked on other series on cryptozoology for them.
Right.
But I have not gotten another series. Monsterquest is still going the rounds. It's like fresh in Europe now. They're running it over in England and Australia on Blaze TV.
Awesome.
And so they're still making money on it. In fact, that's what they said. Why should we do more?
Yeah, exactly.
We're still making a lot of money.
Still running, and there's so many episodes, right? Yeah.
Locally, it plays every day here in my hometown on the Quest channel.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
so they're
awesome.
still in syndication.
That's awesome, man. Wow. I bet you didn't think it was going to be such a big hit.
It was weird because I got my biggest royalty check literally this quarter.
Wow.
So Monsterquest is more popular now
than when it was when it first came out.
When it first came out, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. Well, I got to tell you, I love that show, and I don't mind watching it over and over. Let me tell you.
Well, I
every
think,
chance
you know,
I get.
Well, here's the difference, and I think people can understand this. I wasn't just some producer. They said, hey, do you want to produce a show in cryptozoology? They had no interest in it. I was passionate. I was already very heavily involved in science, and I was passionate in wanting answers. So to me, the show was a vehicle for getting answers and doing continued wildlife research.
Right.
So it was the passion that I put into the show that people, I think, pick up on. It's not just some guy in L.A. going, oh, I produce a crypto show, has no interest in it.
Right. Yeah, because I've seen a bunch of shows of yours. I must have watched like maybe 5 or 6, and they were all anywhere from an hour to 2 hour long.
Yeah.
And just to kind of, see what you talk about on your interviews, like I was telling you in backstage. And I've noticed that you mentioned that you do a lot of wildlife research. So do you do that on your downtime, like when you're not producing?
Yep.
Okay.
Still do. Yep. Still do.
Wow. Because you have like a love for animals, right?
Right.
What I remember.
Yeah, I'm passionate about, wildlife, especially bears, black bears. I've actually have a scientific paper out now on the birth of black bears and the care of black bears. That was co-authored with me and a number of doctors. We were the first to discover the first mammals cohabitating also. First to film wild black bears birthing. First, we were the first to Monsterquest to film a giant squid and Architeuthis ducks.
Yeah.
It's kind of a big deal. I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
Which had nothing to do with Bigfoot, obviously, but it was wildlife research.
Right.
So I still, yes. In fact, I just got off the phone yesterday with a biologist, and we want to start up doing some other research in the area of black bears.
Yep.
How
long was that squid, by the way? I think I remember something
54
around
54 feet long.
Okay, 54.
At the shortest.
Okay.
It could have been because we don't know the tentacles, because the tentacles are so thin
and long.
We couldn't measure the tentacles. We could only measure the what I mean by the tentacles, the two grabbers that shoot out to grab their prey. I'm not talking about the arms.
Right.
The arm on the one was a foot and a half wide.
Right.
So if it was a different species, it could have been up to 108 feet long.
Right. That's what I was going to say, Doug, because you know what? I've heard of the tentacles being longer than the body itself.
Correct.
So,
but different species, but it's been now confirmed. They did a show called Predators of the Deep. It's in the History Vault. It's a 2-hour special. It was done 2 years ago. And they wanted to confirm whether that was the biggest and first true Architeuthis. So they got a whole bunch of new experts in it, and it was confirmed. It was the first Architeuthis giant squid ever filmed.
Right. Wow.
In the wild, not a dead one,
Right. Now, what is your take on the giant squid that they found on, I can't remember what documentary it was, but it was on the side of the ship, on the side of the boat?
Yeah.
You remember that one?
Sure.
Like a big red one? That's like a big
I've seen all of them,
one.
but they're quite small. They're not really, although they're an Architeuthis, they're the ones that I think that die at a young age. I believe the ones that grow giant get out of their niche and do not breed and become cannibals only. So they're eating the ones that are migrating up and down the water column. They don't migrate up and down the water column. They don't breed. And that's what gives them their long life. I think I'll be proven out on that theory.
Right. Okay.
So the other squid, just picture them living 3 years. Well, you can only get it to 8, 9, 10 feet. And that's it.
Well, that one that I saw the documentary on was pretty big, but I just don't know how big that is. You know what I mean?
Not like there was one that was filmed just recently. It was only 8 feet long.
The one I'm talking about, I think might have been Animal Planet or Discovery Channel. I think it was Discovery.
Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah, but I have another question from my good buddy Al Sanariga. He says, how many seasons of Monsterquest did they do?
4.
Good. 4? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, roughly 70 episodes.
Wow. Okay.
Yep, and some are 2 hour long and haven't released them. There's some that they just haven't released yet.
Right.
And I think they did. my reason for them not releasing them, I think, is they just got lost in the shuffle. I don't think I'm going to actually call them and go, why haven't you released this episode and this one and this one and this one?
Yeah, exactly.
So a number of them just haven't released, and they're good episodes.
Yeah, those are like secret golden files. They need to bring them out.
Yeah, well, they just lost track.
Yeah. But they show a bunch of other ones, which is, which they're all great. I mean, I can't say just one or two of those, like they're all great. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you.
So, yeah. Oh, my good buddy Tom Cardo says, I like the werewolf episodes. Yeah, I think there's, what is it, 2, Doug?
I believe there was, and we did.
Or
what
3.
was unique about those is we did like lie detector tests on witnesses, which had never been done, hasn't been done since. And they all passed. So I don't know what to think about these dogmen. I really don't know. It's an interesting phenomenon, but boy, I've talked to a lot of witnesses that.
Yeah, we'll go into that here in just a second, Doug. I want to see what your input is on that.
Yep, I don't feel I've ever been lied to,
Right.
But it doesn't make sense.
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't. And there's a couple questions on that topic that I want to ask you, and I'm pretty sure everybody else wants to hear that too. So you basically focus on Bigfoot, right? Now, would you consider doing a show or producing a show specifically on Bigfoot?
Yeah, absolutely. I have pitched some.
You have? Okay.
Recently, yeah, actually. But it's just like, we come really close, and for one reason or another, they don't come through. But I'm not going to give up. I still feel I'm young enough where I can still do a good job, and I think I'm smarter now than I was back when I was doing Monsterquest. I'm actually going to be shooting. I don't know if it's how good it's going to be. We're going back to Snowgrove Lake this year in August. In fact, we're just about to send our deposit in, and I'm going to do an episode, Return to Snowgrove Lake. But whether we'll have action, because I haven't been back there. I don't know if you've ever seen the Sasquatch Attacks episode 1 and 2.
Right.
But that's Snowgrove Lake. And we're going to go back there, and I'm going back with some researchers.
Awesome.
And we're going to see what happens. And I'm going to, I'll do some taping and
tape
everything that goes on. And
that's what I was going to say, even if it's a documentary, even if it's not a series or anything like that, but even a documentary would be good. Yeah. But
I guarantee you, if nothing happens up there, I probably wouldn't release it. If we have any kind of activity, then I would.
Doug, so has anybody ever approached you, like from another network, not being History Channel, to work on something, work on a show or produce a show or
never?
No.
Oh
wow.
Never even been called. No, never.
I'd figure they would, you know what I mean? Because Monsterquest being such a successful show.
You would think, but so many of these networks like to work with their little cliques. That because most of them are located in like Manhattan. Well, they go to bars after work, just like a lot of people do, and they hang out with certain production companies. They're the ones getting the work. They're buddies. It's very cliquey. I was always an outsider at History Channel, always, because I lived in Minnesota. They'd fly in to see me. Wow. So I was definitely an outsider.
Yeah.
Good or bad. I wasn't from, if you check the credits, they're either going to be in LA or New York. I was in Minnesota. It's kind of was a little bit of a weird deal.
Yeah.
Even hire, for even to hire me. So.
Right. Hey, Country Boy Cryptid is a good buddy of mine. He's got a question. He says, has Doug thought about bringing Monsterquest back if possible? I asked you that question. And you said
I've talked history about it, and I guarantee we'll have another discussion about it.
Right. Have they kind of accepted?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I call over there, and I have my contacts I worked with.
Okay.
They always get excited when I call.
I bet. Yeah.
One of the gentlemen got promoted to vice president because of the show. I feel love. I don't feel anything but love over there.
Right.
And we discuss it, and we kick around ideas, and we always leads to some project every time I call over there. So they're due for another Dougie call.
Yeah. Honestly, I think your show was one of the best they've ever had. You know, like I know they got other shows, but I think your show was the best in the History Channel. Or besides, you know, Ancient Aliens and stuff like that. But your show was awesome. Like, you know,
once again, I think it was because I wasn't. Although I was a producer, that wasn't why I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it to do research. You know, so a little different angle, and that's why they look good.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to really get some answers.
Right.
I'm not just going through the motions.
Right.
You know, Act 1, leave them on a cliffhanger. But, you know, there were numerous episodes, like we filmed the world's biggest shark in fresh water, a 12-foot shark.
Right.
In the St. Lawrence Seaway. Well, we did that because we really set out to do that.
Right.
We weren't really just going through the motion. We really had the right people. You know, I found the right scientists, got the right equipment. And it was just something I was passionate about doing, and we accomplished it. You know, so to me, I'm a wildlife researcher first.
Right. Before anything. Yes.
Before anything, yep.
Yeah, man, that would be so awesome if you came back with another Monsterquest season, man. That would be.
It could happen.
So awesome.
I mean, I wouldn't.
And I don't see why not, Doug. I mean, being so many, you know, new cryptids and animals being discovered.
Well, did you notice
the
a lot of people
being said that it's, you know, still around?
Did you know they brought? Did you know, Carlito? They brought back Monsterquest like 4 years ago. Did you know that? They hired Donnie Wahlberg to replace me.
What? Are you serious?
A lot of people don't know that because the shows, in my opinion, were crap. There was nothing new in them. They took my episodes.
What?
And Donnie would go out and get a few more scenes or whatever, and they edited them together. But it didn't go anywhere.
Wow.
So that kind of, I thought, oh man, it's going to ruin it for me.
Yeah.
But so Donnie Wahlberg replaced me.
Yeah, Donnie Wahlberg. I know that guy. He's an actor.
Yeah, he's Mark Wahlberg's brother, but he was also in NSYNC or whatever band.
Yeah, I think it was New Kids on the Block. New Kids on the Block.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember because of my sisters, guys, by the way, not me. It wasn't me listening to that. My sisters.
It sure was, yeah.
Yeah, but okay, I see.
So but I don't see those ever rerunning, which is interesting. But they added the name Ancient Monsterquest.
What?
Look it up. Ancient Monsterquest, Donnie Wahlberg. And they did like 13 episodes.
Wow.
Ancient Monsterquest.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there you go. There's some new information. I don't think I've ever talked about that.
Right.
Just hope Donnie Wahlberg's not listening to me.
Yeah, I know, right? So, do you, I mean, if you do come back, I mean, would you have, you know, like new stuff already under your belt?
Oh my God, I could make them the most insane shows because I've never stopped doing my research. I've got all this stuff, new stuff, new techniques, new everything to do all sorts of things.
Right.
So if I did Monsterquest now, it would just blow away the old one.
Right. You blow it out the water, yeah. Exactly.
So
that's what I'm thinking. I mean, man, I hope that.
I'll give him a call just for you, Carlito.
Yes, thank you, because I want to watch some more Monsterquest.
I'll give it a shot.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, so hey, so I want to ask you a question. What do you think about like giants showing up in the world right now? I don't know if you ever seen that. Doug, have you seen that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I pay attention to that stuff. I know enough.
What is your take on that?
Well, I'll tell you my take on all these mysteries, all of them. Mm-hmm. We don't know anything about anything. We don't even know anything about beavers, let alone other cryptids.
Right.
Are you following me?
Yes.
I'll give you an example. For instance, we put a camera in a beaver lodge. It had never been done. A wild beaver lodge. It had never been done. We're like, how can that be? But it wasn't. No one ever did it. First thing we do is see muskrats living with the beavers, grooming them. Mm-hmm. So they would groom their fur, these muskrats. The muskrats would do all the bedding. The beavers would do the roof. That's never been seen before.
What?
That was just from a little attempt on my end with no funding, no anything, just me, you know, and this biologist up north, Lynn Rogers.
Yeah,
I actually heard... We filmed a whole season of muskrats and beavers living together. First time mammal cohabitation had ever been witnessed and documented.
Wow.
So we don't know anything about anything. We don't know anything about the fungus that, occupies the soil, to the things that are living in the forest, to the things that are flying in our atmosphere from 0 to 77 miles up. We don't know anything about that ecosystem. Nothing.
Right. I remember you saying on one of your interviews that you're like one of the only guys that puts like a camera underwater just to see the way fish breed and move and kind of live life underwater. Like
right.
Nobody's ever
to see what they
that.
do when no one's around. Because
when
if you're a diver, you're disturbing.
Right.
The relationship between whatever you're seeing, observing is not going to be the same. There's a hidden camera underwater. Mm-hmm. So I've spent a ton of money doing underwater research, building camera platforms. I think I sent you a picture of the Benthic Explorer that I built, which was an amazing underwater research vessel I put at the bottom of Lake Superior and got almost a full year out of observing all sorts of things that had never been filmed, including even the inland tide. Nobody even knew anything about the inland tide in Lake Superior. They knew it was there, but they didn't know anything about it. Like which direction does it go and when and how often. So I even had meters put on that so we could actually visualize the SAISH. They call it SAISH. Mm-hmm. We had intelligence tests for fish. I can go on and on. We had listening devices, piezo crystal listening devices. We could, and then broadcast sounds, to see the effects on fish. Broadcast music, all different types of music. And, we just, you name it. But there's just so many things we don't know. So if somebody says they see a dog man or a moth man, does this mean nothing? It is so arrogant to think we've ever studied the forest even.
Right.
We have not even really studied the forest.
Very
we
small
have no
percentage.
idea what goes on.
Yeah, very small percentage,
We don't even, there's things they're learning that are just mind-blowing about just woods. And then if you take things like, people see orbs in the woods. We don't know anything about them.
Right.
No one's studying them. There's no money to study such a thing. I've seen orbs in the woods 1,000 times.
Right.
Blue ones, green ones, sparkling ones. The last ones we saw were bright pink.
Wow.
And were real, I think we got within 20 feet of them. Bright pink, the size of basketballs. What they were, there were two of them together. What they were doing together, I don't know. I don't know what their relationship is with the forest. I don't know if they're aliens, they're a form of life. If it's swamp gas, I have no idea.
Right.
And the mysteries, that's what gets me up in the morning, all these damn mysteries.
Right.
So I have no opinions on anything.
Right. It could be anything, but if nobody's out there to record it, then you're never going to know, right?
But, there's people trying. Obviously, we have game cameras in the forest, which are amazing. I just worked with Adam Colt, and we did we put 8 cameras, we hardwired with power into the forest, buried all the cables, hardwired them with artificial intelligence cameras, little minis, and we disguised them all, like little animals and stuff, just to see. And we did witness a ton of weird stuff, and we've got tons of weird footage, including orbs. We have no idea what we filmed.
Right.
There were phenomena that we recorded. We have no idea. And animal behavior we have never been seen.
And what do you think of those? Doug?
Well, I just think we have a lot to learn. Maybe in 1,000 years we'll know more.
Okay,
it might take 1,000 years to know more.
Right. Well, the reason I'm asking you this is because we at the Cryptid community, we think it could be many, many things. We think it could be portals. We think it could be Bigfoot inside of those orbs.
Sure. Why not?
It could be some type of interdimensional door. It could be something paranormal, as in ghosts traveling in through orbs. It could be many, many things. We always discuss that.
Think about it. Truth is always stranger than fiction.
Right.
So it could be just the explanations maybe our brain can't even handle yet, or there's nothing to any of it.
Right.
Or it doesn't exist and we're just imagining it. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
All I'm saying is I don't know anything. So I'm not, my opinion is to stay humble, stay curious and humble. And maybe you'll get a chance to see some of these mysteries and try to figure out ways to study these mysteries. And I think that's what we're here for.
Right.
I think anybody who's watching this show, as an example, I would put in the top 1% of all the intelligence of all the entire population.
Right.
So I want you to think about this. So the people watching your podcast are watching it because they're curious about the world,
Right.
about mysteries. Those are the most intelligent people out there, in my opinion. They're the top 1%, if not the top, 1/10 of 1% of intelligence. So,
Right.
Everybody give themselves a pat on the back.
Yeah.
Because that's got to be what we're humans are here to do, is learn.
Right.
What other purpose, Carlito?
Right. And people like you, Doug, with your TV shows and productions, y'all trying to find an explanation to these things, like maybe a scientist side of an explanation to these things. And we on the cryptid side, we're trying to find a paranormal side to these things.
But paranormal is still normal. Think of it. It's paranormal. There is no such
like
thing.
Interdimensional,
everything. Yeah, but that is to people in the know, which I'm sure there's alien races out there that civilizations have been around millions and millions and millions of years longer than us. To them, it's probably normal. There's nothing weird about it. I don't think anything weird about anything.
Right. Well, you're very open-minded.
So that's just the way I think about things. I try to look at the really big picture and think forward.
Yeah.
So
we'll see. Like my good buddy Tom from North Carolina Cryptid and Paranormal Project. You need to make that short, Tommy. Shorter. He says elemental portals, and I agree with him. I completely 100% agree with him. He says elemental portals are or beings projecting energy from portals is his theory, and that's that. I completely agree with that.
It's as good a theory as anybody's. And he could be absolutely dead right.
Now there's many theories, but that's the one we mostly go with.
Sure.
Right there. Right.
There's just my point is everybody's better off not coming to a conclusion. Come up with theories. Come up with hypotheses, but don't come to any conclusions.
There you go. That's very, very well said, Doug. You can have your own hypothesis. You can have your own opinion. You can have your own facts. You can have your own proof of whatever you think you got going on, which is fine. Everybody should, be open-minded and say, okay, well, yeah, that very well could be, but don't make it as as a ultimate fact that's what it is, because then people are gonna be like, nah, hold on, man, that's not completely true. That may be your opinion, but it's not everybody's. So we got to respect everybody's opinions and point of views is what I'm trying to say.
I just think that people that actually come to conclusions might be doing so prematurely because we really don't know. But
and another thing, Doug,
Well, I was just going to say, and then I'll let you finish your thought. The key is to acknowledge that what we're seeing is real.
Right.
We just don't know what it is.
Right.
But there are a few people out there that think there's nothing out there. It's just come home from work, turn on the baseball game, go to work in the morning, and anything in their home is real.
Right.
Anything that seems normal, very, very normal, and vanilla is real. Anything beyond vanilla is not real.
Right.
But the world is very Neapolitan.
Yes, absolutely. And another thing too, Doug, is like, when did your shows first start airing? Monsterquest. When did that first start?
Well,
airing?
My first, like Cryptid, my first wildlife shows started airing in 1985.
85. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But when did Monsterquest start?
You weren't even born probably then, were you?
No, I was, but thank you anyway.
Oh, okay.
I was 10 years old in 1985. Yeah.
Okay.
But so like, when did it actually start? Like, because it's a very different era. Like my buddy Tom says here, people are starting to wake up to these things and seeing more of these things.
Yes,
because
there
back
are more
then,
people waking up. Yes,
right?
correct.
And then back then, we didn't have the technology we have now. 30 years later, after you started doing your shows, you see
people
what I mean?
are more open-minded now than they were back in the 90s or the 80s
or the 80s
or the
yes.
70s or
yes.
on and on.
Yes,
they are.
Right.
And it's wonderful. For instance, I think Facebook does a great service by the groups. You know, these research groups. There's so many of them. I was shocked when I avoided Facebook for many years. It was only like 3 years ago or 2.5 years ago I got on Facebook. And I was like, holy crap. There's like 5,000 Bigfoot groups. I had no idea it was that popular. I had no idea that all this was going on. You know, I had no idea. I was kind of isolated, I guess, because I wasn't on social media. But I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's wonderful. And I can tell everybody's interested in those kinds of mysteries. You are the smartest ones out there. Don't ever let anybody make you feel like you're crazy or you're stupid. No. You're part of the 1% and the most intelligent people on the planet.
Right. Well, we'd like to think so, right?
Well, I'm telling you are, because I'm just telling you are. That's not a theory. I mean, that's one thing I am very, very convinced in.
Right. Thank you.
Because we are here to learn.
Right. And it's like in this community, the cryptid community, it's like we're always trying to learn more every day. You know, it's like me, my good buddy Tom, Al, you know, Shane, everybody, Laura, OK Nana, Darkwoods. We're always trying to learn more, so we watch anything and everything we can to gather more information. That way, we'll have more knowledge on the topic, right? I mean, the topic on the topic. Yeah, I guess I'm hungry or something, but yeah, on the topic. You
didn't eat either, did you?
No, I didn't eat. No, I'll wait till after the show.
You know what I'll tell you, I'm going to confess something. I ate one thing today, an ice cream bar. I'm so naughty. It was bad. Yeah. So okay, I got to skip lunch then. So.
Hey, I got a good question from my good friend. She's a very well-known cryptid researcher as well. Her name is OK Nana. She says, question, did MIB ever mess with you, Doug?
Any what? MIB?
Men in Black?
I don't think so. We've had some, we've always have interesting things happen that you could say, well, that's government or, that kind of thing. And I would say there's been times where it's like, that's a coincidence. For instance, let's just give you an example. Guy calls me up. We send this gentleman up to go up to this area where we have all of our cameras to do some research looking for footprints. So he's up there, and him and the camera guy have a sighting. Thing runs behind him and leaps over a fence right when they were changing the memory card on the camera. Within minutes, there was a plane circling the area above where the sighting happened. And they were paranoid. They're like, okay. They looked up the plane. They couldn't identify it. Whoever it was had not filed a flight log. It was just circling that property.
Right.
And I thought, well, yeah, it's possible that somebody might be listening, or curious. It could be somebody in the government. But you don't know, But the paranoia can run deep,
Right.
Especially in a case like that. Like, what is this plane doing? Suddenly out of nowhere, circling this property over and over and over, right where they just had a Bigfoot sighting. And the only reason they would have known about it because the guy called me.
Right. Wow.
Or was it just a coincidence? See, we don't know. Never will know. So we've had, through the years, there's been things like that.
Right.
But I've never had any knock with any white-looking guys with black eyes and sunglasses and driving black Cadillacs knocking on my door. But I don't doubt the stories. They're fascinating.
Yeah. Wow.
Too many of them.
Yeah.
It's too many of them to blow them off.
Well, the reason is, I guess they ask that question is because, a lot of people, especially like you, people, well-known people, once they get to a level, they start questioning them, especially they might be because you know too much or you covered something that's true and real, and they try to cover it up.
We had a real interesting, strange incident. We were I came up with this theory on the skin oil of Bigfoots. It's got to be almost 2 years ago. I had this kind of revelation. You know, when your brain light bulb goes off above your head? Because I was seeing pictures of like handprints and fingerprints for 30 years. But I always thought they were just dusty handprints. All of a sudden, it dawned on me, that isn't dust. That's a residue. And then we collected some. We took out one of our camera traps and put it on the ground, and it fingered it up all over it. And it was the same white, this kind of a whitish, thick, waxy stuff. Well, then we named it, but my theory is that, see, chimps, orangutans, gorillas, humans, bonobos, they all have a unique chemical makeup in their skin oil. Bigfoot seem to have a thicker, whiter, pastier, more permanent. It seems you can't even wash it off. If they touch the side of your house, that white handprint's going to be there for years. That makes sense. So the idea was it was 3D evidence. You could get DNA from it. You could collect the skin oil and have it analyzed for the chemical compound. Like humans, we have cholesterol in our skin oil. Gorillas don't have cholesterol in their skin oil. There's a certain ratio of triglycerides in humans. There may not be any in gorillas or orangutans. So what is Bigfoot's chemical compound? So it dawned on me to get that analyzed, start collecting it, and start analyzing it. We had a real interesting incident where one of our guy that I was working with was followed by a drone down a river in the middle of the night. And his trailer was taken and then put in his driveway as almost a message.
Wow. What do you think about the drones used in the Bigfoot field? That's a good question.
I think they've got potential. I think they've got a lot of potential.
I've seen a bunch of videos where a drone films a Bigfoot, and there's no saying to that. Like, that's actual proof.
Sure, there's no way a Bigfoot's going to be able to avoid a drone, but you need to get some of these really amazing. You ever seen the drone racing?
Yeah, I've seen those.
You get those guys on it.
Oh yeah, those are super fast.
Trees and stuff.
Yes. I think they go like 50, 60 miles an hour or something like that.
Yeah,
fast.
I think that, if not quicker.
Yeah, I've seen them. It's like, whoa, it gets you dizzy when you're watching them fly. Yeah.
Yeah, the pilots are amazing.
Yes, they are. Yes,
so you need to get we need to.
Did you, Doug? Have you ever seen that one? I'm pretty sure you have. That one drone footage of a Bigfoot, kind of far away, where it's running. Where it's running, you can see it, and it hops over. It hops with like maybe 1 or 2 steps. It hops over a road.
Yep.
And it goes into like some trees somewhere there. You seen that?
Yeah, I've seen all these.
You seen how much he covered in such a short distance?
My problem is, of course, it's too far away to really determine for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And nowadays with with film is the way it can be faked and the CGIs, and there's just it's never going to convince a scientist. Where 3D evidence, where you get the latent details, you can take photos of the skin pores, all the whoops and whirls, which are independent. So if you can get latent detail, skin oil analysis, and DNA, a scientist could repeat that over and over, because it's actually pretty easy to collect the handprints. It's very easy. It's not hard. They seem to have an affinity to touch smooth objects. If they're smooth, like a piece of glass. Or a piece of plexiglass, acrylic that's shiny. So what you can do is take a 12 by 12 piece of acrylic and then put a piece of the hooked Velcro on both sides, just a little strip of it, because it'll snag hairs. So you can not only snag hair, you get a handprint for 4D evidence. That will convince the scientist. So we're planning on this year I've got so many nice skin oil samples. Finally, we're going to have those analyzed for both DNA and the chemical compounds. Plus, we have all the photos that go along with the. So you combine all 3 of those pieces of evidence, it's pretty compelling.
Yeah.
You can't fake fingerprints.
Right. Hey, I remember hearing in one of your other interviews that about a camera that you can buy, and you can you put it on your bike, or you can. It's like for motorcycles or something like that, right? I remember
Right.
you saying.
Yes. You could do a dash cam for motorcycles.
Yeah, dash cam. There you go. So what's all the uses? Because I forgot. I seen the interview, but I forgot what it was all about.
You want to go to like Amazon, look up Blue Sea Sky motorcycle dash cam. They're quite cheap. What's really cool, they're very low voltage. They operate on a cell phone power supply, USB power supply. So you can plug it in your car, yes, but they always come with an extra cord that snaps on, an adapter that you can just run it off a little power supply. I mean, they're dirt cheap. You can get a power supply for $10. It'll run those things all day long. So you've got 2 cameras, long cord, and they're tiny, and they're waterproof. So you could think of all the things you could do with those camera systems. Blue Sea Sky motorcycle camera. You could throw them out of your tent. Cut a little hole in the bottom of your tent. Throw a camera out each side, and it comes with a nice monitor. And they go from color to infrared automatically, and it records sound automatically. As soon as you get power, it's recording. So there's no human screw up.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, and the reason I'm asking is because I thought that was very interesting when you explain on how it works, how you can use it on your bike, on yourself, right? Like a chest piece or something when you're out in the woods. The reason I'm saying is because I have a lot of friends on right now that they do boots on the ground, research, so that, that's
this
great
is the
for
way
them.
to go, because you don't need 2 GoPros. It records both cameras at once.
Right.
You have 1 memory card to worry about. You have 1 power supply to worry about. 1 battery to worry about.
Right.
You can buy 5 of those they're just tiny little power supplies now.
And they're way cheaper than GoPros, right?
Oh, God, yes.
Right.
Because you get this double, so you can use it on your body. When you're taking a hike, you can clip one on the back of you, on the backpack. Put one in front of you, clip it on your hat, with a piece of tape or whatever.
Right.
Then you can get in your car and put it on the dash. You've got a dash cam.
There you go.
It records the GPS coordinates. GoPros don't do that. Wow. That also verifies footage. It records the timestamps.
I need to get some of those. Definitely.
Right. Definitely. Blue Sea Sky motorcycle dash cam. I did a podcast. I think it was Bobo and Cliff's Beyond Bigfoot and Beyond, and the company heard about it, and they posted this on their website, which was interesting. It's a great use for wildlife research. Is a motorcycle dash cam system.
Yes. I bet.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
$135. They used to be like $100. Now the inflation's got them up to like
would that work like if you're on a 4-wheeler or something like that?
Yeah, God, yes. Oh, absolutely. I install them on e-bikes permanently.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
So they're already wired in, so as soon as I fire the e-bike up, it's already recording front and rear.
Nice.
Same camera system.
My buddy Tom does that a lot. He goes out with his 4-wheelers. There you go, Tom.
Yep.
That's perfect for that.
See, I use e-bikes
affordable. Not as much as a GoPro. Those are crazy
I use electric
expensive.
bikes for research because they're silent. And, and I have cameras mounted on them. They're really amazing.
Wow, cool. Hey, I have a question that I kind of skipped there for a second. This is from C. Brewer. She's asking, do you think it's thicker, as in their skin, for protective purposes, a barrier of sorts?
Really good question.
Great question.
And I'll give you all my theories. One, you're a baseball fan, right?
Yes.
Carlito? Okay. Well, what is the... Tries to get a little Vaseline on his hands for grip, right?
Right.
Or something greasy. Right. That actually helps him grip the baseball.
Right. Yeah, it does.
Okay. Well, why would a Bigfoot need to grip stuff in the forest?
Right.
So having this extra coating on their hand or extra skin oil would help them climb, would help them do all sorts of things, would help them hunt. And when I say grip, maybe it's gripping animals, gripping all sorts of things. It could be a good bug repellent. It could it certainly would be a great water repellency. Would protect against UV, on and on and on. So those are the theories. But just for bugs alone, wood ticks, we're going to learn more because we have been actively collecting this stuff. And there's another thing I was going to add. This is brand new information. I just talked about it on one other podcast.
Mm-hmm.
There was a zoologist I was talking to had heard about this and said, hey, and this is something that's not printed in any scientific literature. He was taking care of 4 male gorillas, and they came out of their cage, and they had this whitish gray stuff bubbling out of their armpits. And they started smearing it on the windows, and they couldn't get it off. They couldn't wash it off.
Wow.
It was exactly like the Bigfoot stuff. Coincidence? I don't know. I doubt it.
Right.
So it wasn't being excreted from their hands. It was coming out of their pit area. So maybe that's what Bigfoots do, and they rub it on themselves.
Right.
So we don't know anything about anything.
Right.
I love it. I mean,
like Al said, we could just speculate on what these things do.
Yeah, but it doesn't hurt to be thinking about it and thinking about how to collect it, because I think it's highly important.
Right.
Super important. Right now, I think it's the most important evidence you could go after. Even better, even more important than photographic evidence. Skin oil. And to collect it, just Q-tips, keep some sterile Q-tips, and bring some paper envelopes. Acid-free paper envelopes are better. You can get them at Office Max. You can collect the stuff. You can take a number of, photograph it really well if you get a handprint on like a piece of plastic or on your window, on your camper window or your car window.
Right.
It's like this huge print shows up in the middle of the night.
Right.
Photograph the heck out of it. Then collect a number of Q-tips for DNA, and collect a number of them for the chemical analysis of the actual compound. Or you can buy a professional DNA kit, but you just store that in a paper envelope. You don't have to freeze it, nothing. It'll stay preserved.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you.
But you can get, I'd be amiss if I didn't mention, Shelley Covington, Montana does sell. She's the only one that sells proper DNA collection kits. Shelley Covington, Montana.
Okay.
And she's on Facebook, so people can get a hold of her.
Okay. Hey Doug, what was I gonna ask you something, man, but the camera that you mentioned, can you say the name one more time, please?
Oh yeah, blue, just like the color blue, and it's one word, C. So we'll start over. Blue, C, SEA, like the ocean, sea, sky.
Sky.com?
Yep, like the sky. Yep. Blue Sea Sky, one word. That's the manufacturer. That's the brand you want to get.
Okay.
Motorcycle dash cam. They have them on Amazon.
And also, on Amazon. Okay, thank you. And another thing I was going to ask you, what is the price range for those?
$135 the last set I bought.
Okay.
But it comes with the 2 cameras. All the cords are color coordinated. You cannot screw anything up. You put the memory card in, power it up, it's recording.
Nice.
That's
and
what
it
I
works
call
with GPS. Is what you were saying,
yes,
right?
and it records the Yes, it comes with a little GPS antenna, records the GPS coordinates. But I call these things dummy proof. They're completely dummy proof.
Right. Oh, that's great. That's awesome. That's even better. That's even better for us to be able to use it a lot easier. Darkwood said I had handprints on my home. Yeah, I know.
And if you notice, they're white. They're a whitish. That is their actual skin oil.
Yeah,
like
you know what?
almost.
I've seen those handprints on people's car windows, and they're white.
Yes,
they're
but
white.
Everybody thought that white was dust.
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah.
And it hit me one day. That's not dust. That is skin oil. And then I went, oh my God, if it's skin oil, it's going to have sloughed off skin cells in it. Oh my God, DNA. Oh my God, if it's skin oil, you're going to be able to analyze the skin oil for all these different chemical compounds.
DNA. And can they? Have they?
Oh no, I'm hopefully going to be the first to do it this summer here.
I hope so. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I hope you
I
do.
have a whole bunch of samples literally within 1 foot from me.
Right. Wow. Man.
We've also gotten full face prints.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll press their face. They leave the same kind of white stuff. Yep.
Wow, from their face.
Yeah, their whole face. They'll press it against the glass on a patio window.
Nice.
Yep. And then it leaves a nice, beautiful, white, waxy face print. So you've got the photographic proof, you've got the DNA, and you've got the chemical compound of their skin oil. No one's ever thought of analyzing their skin oil. Because, once again, chimps, orangutans, gorillas, humans, they're all different. So my hope is Bigfoot's going to have its own signature.
Mm-hmm.
Should be a real important find.
Wow, that'd be awesome, Doug.
Yeah.
I hope you do. I hope you can find that. I hope you can. Okay, well, I want to go ahead and move on because I know we're on an hour already, and I kind of want to get these topics in because I don't want the show to finish and me not getting time to get into that.
The only thing you're holding me up for, Carlito, is eating.
Eating, yeah.
Just eating.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
that's
me too.
Other than if you hear my stomach growling,
no.
All I did was sneak one ice cream bar up.
Yeah. Okay. So, Doug, I want to jump into Dogman and what you think about that, okay? So, honestly, do you believe Dogman exists?
Yeah, I mean, why not? There's so many witnesses. Mm-hmm. I had a very interesting conversation with a man here from Minnesota who has got a family farm who I met by accident, who happened to connect to some other property I was researching. And he had no idea we were doing this. We had no idea he lived there. We just had no idea. Come to tell you, he's like, oh, yeah, we see him all the time on our property. So we're on the third generation of these things, seeing them. And the guy teaches like wilderness survival and gun training. He's not a nut, you know what I mean? He's just, and he doesn't want any publicity. He doesn't want to talk to anybody. He was pissed that I even got his phone number from somebody.
Wow.
So, it's like, well, why would he make that up? I don't know. Why? How could you put people through lie detector tests and they pass?
Did he contact you, or did you?
No,
contact him?
I reached out to him.
Okay.
And I got his name from a neighbor, his phone number from a neighbor. He was quite angry that the neighbor gave me his phone number.
What?
Yeah, because he doesn't want anything to do with it. Oh, he sees them on a regular basis, but
he's one of those guys.
That's just one of those. Yeah,
slip it under the rug and leave me alone. Yeah.
My grandmother saw him. Her mother saw him, and we're just want to be left alone.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Have you ever spoke to anyone that wanted to talk to you about it?
Sure. Oh God, yeah. I've talked to numerous witnesses.
Okay. Awesome.
I just don't know what to think. I mean, I've not seen one, so you can never be a knower if you haven't seen one. But I don't. I'm not. I've seen some weird stuff in my day. I'm very humble.
Right.
So I'm not going to pass judgment on anybody.
Right.
About anything ever. I don't care what somebody says they saw some 20-foot tall green monster with blue horns. I'm just going to listen, and I'm not passing any judgment on them.
Right.
Because there's just so many witnesses. I mean,
okay, this is just me asking, right? Doesn't that, put ants in your pants to want to do another show?
Yeah, I'd
produce
love
another show.
I would
on that.
I would be happy to do a Dogman show. It'd be fascinating. That was one of our more popular Monsterquests when we did that. One with Linda. Linda Godfrey, rest her soul.
Yeah, rest her soul.
Great lady.
Rest in peace. Yeah, she was.
I had more fun.
Very knowledgeable.
That woman has got the best sense of humor ever. Yeah, we had a blast doing that, working with her. Yeah, she was great.
I bet. Yeah, she was.
But I don't have any opinions.
No.
Because, it doesn't make sense in the evolution world, right? This doesn't make sense. There's nothing like it in the evolutionary chain. Where Bigfoot, there is. I'm one of them.
Right.
We're all part of the evolutionary chain of Bigfoot, so makes sense.
Right.
We're not We just don't have anything in the fossil record.
Right,
but that doesn't mean they don't exist.
Right. Well, the reason I'm asking you this, Doug, is because you know how you're a producer. You go on TV where millions of people, as
Right.
us in the cryptid community, it's just like maybe thousands of people. You know what I mean? That makes a difference. And now it seems like Bigfoot is not the hot topic anymore. It's Dogman. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
So that's why I'm asking, like, would you be interested in covering that more now, since you already did the Bigfoot?
I would be happy to.
Yeah?
I'd be happy to. You know,
like on a show, like on TV. You know what I mean?
Sure,
like,
sure.
yeah.
I'd be happy to. It needs to be done. It hasn't been done yet.
Right, exactly.
No one's
not
done
on
a Dogman
TV.
show.
No,
it's
not on TV.
It's going to happen. I mean,
yeah, I'm just
somebody's
waiting.
going to do it.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I'm just waiting on who's going to get it. Yeah, you're
but
absolutely right.
It's definitely kind of either an old phenomena where people talk about it, which is probably more likely. Who are you going to report that to?
Right.
30 years ago. You're just going
Right.
to keep your mouth shut because everybody's going to think you're nuts. It's going to get out in the town. You're going to get your, you're going to east.
Well, see how it used to be like that for Bigfoot. Like, oh, you're crazy. Back in the 80s, if you believed in Bigfoot, you were crazy.
Yep.
And when you were seeing things and you were just, imagining things. Now it's like a fact kind of deal. Now it's like everybody knows about Bigfoot. Everybody accepted it now.
Yep.
But Dogman's a whole different news story that not everybody accepts. Not everybody, and a lot of people don't want to come forward, like you said about your witness, that they don't want to come forward because they don't want to be ridiculed. So, unless it's covered more on a more serious note, like I'm mentioning now, TV series, TV shows, documentaries on TV, then people are going to start taking it more serious, and then it's going to be more known like Bigfoot is. You know what I mean?
Right. So, well, if it has a foot designed like a wolf, it's going to be very hard to distinguish a wolf track. Bigfoot track is a little more easy to distinguish.
Right.
You're going to see a big wolf track, and you're going to go, oh, it's a Dogman.
Yeah. Is that a wolf? Is that a dog?
A big wolf.
Yeah, a big wolf, yeah. And there have been accounts of these, what are these big wolves? I can't remember the name right now. Timber wolves that have been sighted and that have been, tracked with their, wolf tracks or whatever. There's been many stories on that too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's been
so we don't know
big oversized wolf scene.
Yeah. So we don't know if it's really a Dogman or if it's a big oversized wolf, right? Oh, yeah. And like another thing I was gonna say too, Doug. Have you ever heard of the? I'm pretty sure you have of the the liger, which is a
massive size,
super massive, bigger than both lion and tiger.
I know, it's huge.
I think the mother is a tiger and the father's a lion, because they have them the other way around too, which is I can't remember what the name of that is.
It's a tigalon.
Yeah, tigalon. There you go. Yeah, but the liger is way much bigger because the mother has got the more genes, which is the tiger genes. Tigers are bigger than lions. But this is massive, like super huge. It's like when they stand up, they're like 10 feet tall.
They're almost double the size.
Yeah, double the size of a regular tiger. So do you think maybe that type of, hybridization, would do the same with wolves? Like a certain type of wolf with another certain type of wolf.
Nature is always going to be stranger than anything you could comprehend.
There could be like some type of super
wolf. I was
wolf
studying a squid yesterday that is completely 100% transparent. Mm-hmm. They get quite large, and there's 100% like glass.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck? I mean, that's as weird as it gets, but it's real. I don't think we should doubt anything. Keep an open mind.
Right, exactly.
Personally, small, like these motorcycle dash cams I was mentioning, to me, those things are so small, they can be disguised. You could bury them. You have the recording device buried. Have it put it in a Tupperware tub and bury the tub. Run the cord underground. Have the little camera, just the lens sticking straight up if there's an area you think. Those are the kinds of tricky cameras that maybe could get footage. But would that be enough proof? Hell no. Right. I don't know how you're going to get proof of a Dogman. It's not easy.
Yes, it's really not. The
best thing is the anecdotal witnesses that keep popping up every day. Now I always tell people, these mysteries are not going away because they're fueled every single day.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get unicorn reports, right?
Right.
I haven't taken one. I've never taken one. But I've taken 50
we don't get
Dogman.
we don't get a 6-foot elephant report anywhere. You know what I mean?
No.
It's like it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
The things
so,
that they've been mentioned and brought to the light is because people have seen them, and this has been going on for centuries and centuries.
Yep. Fuels the mystery.
Yeah.
And it's all over Europe. People see them in Europe.
Yep.
See them in Canada. I mean, there's no place really. I don't know of any place they don't see them.
I think that's actually where it first started in Europe, the folklore and the cave drawings and all that. For the Egyptians, the Anubis. Anubis was a type of dogman kind of persona that they that they had back then. Well, that's the way they depicted it, right? And they had them all over the place. They had them in sarcophagus, they had them in wall paintings, they had them in cave drawings and all that. So I think they really had that going on back then, and there's a reason for that. Also in Mexico, there's sightings of that too, and they even have a dog in Mexico that looks exactly like Anubis, and it's called a Xoloscuincle, and it's an Aztec dog, and it works the same way, Doug. Yeah, it works the same way. It's a dog that guides you through the underworld, when you die and all that, and that's the same thing Anubis was. So if you think about it, it's connected some way.
Let me tell you a story.
I'd like to dig in more into that and actually bring that out.
Well, I'll tell you a story why I got humbled.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that was very humbling to me. So the History Channel, we were going to do they wanted me to they were wondering why I had not done a Mothman episode.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I said, no physical evidence. What am I going to do it on?
Mm-hmm.
You're the ones that told me make sure I've got physical evidence to analyze.
Right.
I don't have any. And so I'm driving home with Yvette. We're driving home from up north. It's a full moon night. It's a very, beautiful evening.
Mm-hmm.
Radio's playing. We're driving in my Corvette. We're driving down the freeway.
Mm-hmm.
Not expecting anything to happen. All of a sudden we see something up in the sky, kind of like reflecting.
Mm-hmm.
And it drops straight down really quick, just straight down right in front of, in front of the car, but maybe half a mile away. And then it comes right up my windshield. It just keeps coming right over the top of the freeway, gliding. Gets right to the windshield, and we both... And it looked like a gargoyle or a moth. I don't know what it was. We both see it. She ducks. And, of course, I duck eventually. I thought it was coming through the windshield. So I ended up doing a Mothman episode after that because I was humbled at that point into thinking, apparently, I shouldn't doubt anything.
Right.
So we just saw something that shouldn't exist too. No evolutionary record. No, there's not. But there's history of it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a gargoyle, whatever you want to call them, it goes way back. Big Wing Creek, the Indians. They had names Thunderbird. I don't know what we saw, but we sure got a good look at it. Whatever it was very real.
Mm-hmm.
It affected our lives a great amount,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know what it was. You don't know where it lives. I don't know what it eats. But it was humbling.
Right. Well, going back to Dogman, a lot of people do have great evidence, such as prints, casts, footprints, casts, footprints and all that, but they don't really have any type of like fur, evidence where you can...
Yeah. I've analyzed some of the fur samples that Linda gave me,
mm-hmm.
and all of them were known mammals. Very, hair is pretty easy to identify.
Mm-hmm.
You put under, you compare it to scaling. All animals have their own unique scaling patterns on the hair, and so you can match them up exactly. But, never say never.
Right.
Somebody might get something tomorrow.
Yeah. What kind of hoping somebody to bring out, to the light, like very good, solid proof and evidence. You know what I mean? That's what we're hoping on. But it seems to be, you know what? It's more of a problem, Doug, that the GVT, you know what that means? GVT, they confiscate. Well, I can't really say because I don't want to, have them, check out the gummies. I call them gummies. Can you understand that? Okay. Yeah. The gummies, gummy bears. They take any evidence that anybody can find or has, like let's say, you've heard of many stories where somebody shoots a dog, man, kills it in the middle of the road, and next thing you know, it's gone. The next day it's gone when they come back, or when they turn around, it's gone, or or people have, shot something in there, and these people come, it might be whatever they are, they come, confiscate whatever evidence you have, and say nothing ever happened. That's their their MO basically. So nobody can ever really prove it because the gummies always take it.
Yeah, I mean, there was a. This happened many years ago. I was driving my daughter Dakota to school, and it was elementary school. Happened many years ago, and there was just this big, long animal laying. It was really long. Mm-hmm. It had kind of a black, grayish fur. And we drove by it, and I stopped. I got out of the car, and I looked at it. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And I can't identify it. And my daughter's going, Dad, I got to get to school. I'm late. So I thought, well, I'll drop her off at school. I'll come back, and I'll get samples and photograph it and try to figure out what this thing is.
Right.
Because it wasn't that injured. I mean, it wasn't like it was disintegrated by whatever hit it. It was very much intact. It had very much like rounded bear ears, but its legs, it had like deer hoofs. I don't know what it was. So I get back. I mean, we weren't gone, 10 minutes. I come back and it's all cleaned up.
Yeah, see,
creature's gone. Saying. You could see the shovel marks where they got it all. They swept it.
Yep. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I was shocked. Mm-hmm. I was gone 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And my daughter still remembers that story.
Yeah.
That freaked me out that it was gone more than anything.
Right.
So you're telling me this stuff, and I've kind of experienced it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what it was. I don't know. It could have been, could have been something, I guess.
Yeah, and there's many stories like
that.
Well,
what's got bear ears and a bear head, but it's got hoofs in the back? Wow. Figure that one out.
Yeah, that's a new one.
I don't know.
I've never
People
seen
can say I'm BS, but it's not. It's what happened. But I often wonder too whether I'm just, I've been presented with some of these things only because I was producing Monsterquest at the time.
Right. Yeah. Hey, I have a couple of questions for you, Doug. This is from C. Brewer. She says, Doug, what intrigues you most about cryptids?
Probably the fact that little tingle, that little fear in the background, that creepiness that makes you put your head on a swivel when you're in the forest. So I think that adds a bunch of hold on here, my phone's going off. That adds probably some of the lure, is the a little bit of creepiness. And then I think the other part of it is just the mystery, trying to solve the mystery, trying to get more information.
Right, exactly. Well, for people that don't follow it too much, I think they're drawn to it because of the mystery of it. You know what I mean? Like the freaky, creepy, sense that it gives you, like, oh wow, there's something I've never heard before, and that's really intriguing. You know what I mean? So whereas us researchers, we're more like we want to know more about it. We want to gain some knowledge from it.
Yeah.
It's not so creepy to us anymore. It's more about learning more knowledge.
Right.
Having more knowledge.
Well, what's interesting? The other thing I like about cryptid sightings, they're very consistent. For instance, dogman sightings, generally there's a lot of snarling and, intimidation, but generally everybody walks away. And if they don't walk away, we don't know about it because they're gone.
Exactly. That's
We don't know.
Yes. Now think about how many haven't walked away, Doug.
We don't know. We don't
What's
know.
compared to the versus the people
A lot
that
of people
do.
go missing in the country.
Yes, that's
Lots.
another thing. Especially out in the woods, they go missing.
So many. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're never covered. They're never found.
Yep.
Hundreds and hundreds of people a year go missing.
Yep.
In the woods. So
Every once in a while, me and David Pilates will get in a long conversation. And
yeah.
I've known David for going on 30 years now.
Wow. Yeah.
And
411.
it's always just got that really missing people is really creepy.
It is very, very, especially out in
my
the woods.
son Blaine actually seeks out those spots.
And you know who
where
normally
people
the people that go missing, the people that go by themselves.
Yeah.
Where there's no witnesses.
Right.
You're an easy target.
Yeah.
To anything, maybe a cougar, a bear, whatever, a normal animal or a cryptid.
Right.
You're an easy target because they're like, okay, he's alone. There's nobody who can see where he went, whatever. Oh, he's mine. You know what I mean? It's just simple as that. I have another question, Doug. It says, are we absolutely positive that a dogman is a different entity than a different species of Bigfoot or shape-shifting Bigfoot?
At all. There could be possibilities for inbreeding with Bigfoot.
Right.
And in fact, I've seen some evidence of that, which I can't disclose right now, where there's actually been some evidence of inbreeding, pretty concrete evidence. In other words, no matter who you show the scientists this evidence, they're going to say, looks like there might be some genetic problems. So maybe that's all it is. Maybe dogmen are evolved a little different way. Who knows?
Right.
The point is Lori, you just got to keep an open mind.
Yeah. Thank you, Lori, for that question.
Yeah, it's a good
I have
question.
another question from Man of Light. Doug, he says, do you think the trees have a huge part in the elusive behavior of Bigfoot? I mean, they are there, then they're not.
Oh, it's possible they do a lot more tree climbing. There's a name for it, and I can't think of it right now, where they propel themselves forward using the trunks of trees and then, grabbing on and then catapulting themselves forward. So we really don't know. There hasn't been a lot of observation. There's been some. So we're not completely in the dark on it. But yeah, trees could aid in them just doing something like a quick catapult. They're very strong. It's their, Cliff, we had Cliff on the other night on Untold Radio, and Cliff mentioned something. One of the biggest advantages Bigfoot has is its strength. And that makes so much sense, and I totally agree with him.
I've seen him swing a 15-foot tree across like maybe 30 yards or so, man, like nothing. So, I mean, there's actual video of that, of a Bigfoot throwing, like if he was in the Olympics or something. It's crazy.
Right.
And it makes sense on how they break those trees so easy. And they bend them, where you got your bends and your broken trees, and they're just kind of like in a cross. Like, how does someone, do that? Well, obviously a man can do that with a chainsaw, but not out in the middle of the woods, nowhere where there's no kind of work going on. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of those, you can call them stick structures, and there's so many different types. But the TP types are the types that are very complex. I think they're just deer blinds or game blinds. I think that's what they're using them for.
Right.
Breaks up their outline. I find them so often near deer trails.
I think it's more a total thing.
Could be that too.
And like a warning for humans not to go past that. That's what I think. And for other Bigfoot, right?
To your point, I do find many of them near bike trails, the edge of suburbs.
Right.
So they could be territorial markers.
Yeah, that's what I think. And for other Bigfoots to know who's there, or what clan is there or whatever, because I think they even got clan, maybe not names, but they're doing their structures. And I have another question from OK Nan. It says, has Doug ever heard of Cherokee Little People in the woods?
No, I haven't actually. Not the Cherokee tribes, but I have with the Hoopa, tribe. I've heard this same thing with the natives. Little people stories.
And Hellbent Holler, my buddy Joe, he added to that. Yunwi Tons D.
There's all sorts of names for these, just like Bigfoot, for these little people.
Right.
It's in a lot of ways creepier than any Bigfoot. Just creepy.
Yeah, it is. I've known that folklore from the like southern, the southern part of North America, anywhere from Mexico to Central America and South America, all that. They have lots of stories on little people, like they're even called duendes, like little people, or like the Keebler. What are they called, guys? In the chat, gnomes.
Yeah, gnomes, fairies,
and fairies, and and so
I grew up. My mom told me. My mom is part Native American, and my grandfather was Native American, and so we heard stories like that, and he was Ojibwe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a common theme throughout all the tribes. It really is.
Yeah.
Even in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Same theme. They don't have Bigfoots, but they have the little people.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
Oh. So once again, we don't know what they are, but probably real after
Right. I know you covered this before, but my buddy Country Boy Cryptid wants to know what are your thoughts on portals and orbs? I know you did cover it.
Don't know. I've seen many orbs, many, like really good ones, sparking. We've actually seen orbs in the forest that are sparking with sparks coming off them while they're changing colors.
Wow.
Now, we're talking in the forest.
Yeah.
What in the hell is that? I'll believe anything. I just know they're real. Orbs are. I've seen them. I couldn't have had hundreds of them.
Mm-hmm.
Many different colors. We've seen red ones. We've chased red ones. We've seen blue ones, green ones, color-changing ones. And the latest one was this we saw two Pepto-Bismol pink ones.
Wow.
It's just like pink. Mm-hmm. Never even heard that color. We both sat there in amazement. And there was another guy down the road, and he sat there and pulled over too to watch him. So they're very real. There's no doubt they're real. I have no idea what they are.
Right.
Are they living creatures possibly? Is there something inside them? Are they carriers of something? Are they just plasma energy? Is it something that's just normal to the forest? Mm-hmm. Does it have nothing to do with the forest? Does it have just to do with think about the ecosystem from the ground, straight up. That's an ecosystem. Mm-hmm. There is Pseudomonas syringae bacteria living there. There's all sorts of bacteria and fungus living in our atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
All sorts of birds, and there's got to be creatures we don't know about. Think about how vast it is. Nobody's studied it. The ecosystem above us. Maybe that's where they come from. It's another possibility.
Yes, I know. There's just so many possibilities, man. I've heard throughout the ages, like since I was a little kid, I heard about little people, you know what I mean? And I was like, wow, could that be real? And then you see these videos on YouTube of people recording them, either within their homes, inside their homes, outside their homes.
I tell you, I put my house up for sale. I saw one in the house. Carlito, I'd put my house up for sale.
Yeah,
not good.
I know. Hey, and another thing I wanted to ask you, my last question, and I ask everybody that comes on my show, Doug, just so you know, what do you think about the Gable film? Have you heard of the Gable film?
Yeah, I debunked it.
And what is your thoughts? Oh, yeah?
I debunked it.
Okay, tell us.
Not only debunked it, it's on TV.
Okay.
We got the guy to confess.
Okay.
Who did it. He showed us how he made it.
Right, okay.
So, yeah, it's on an episode of Monsterquest. You must have missed that one.
Oh, I must have missed that one, yeah. I mean, I've heard of it, but I didn't know that was Monsterquest.
The whole thing.
Really? Okay,
yeah.
So you met this guy?
Yeah, of course. Oh. Yeah, he admitted to everything.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it isn't like we had to debunk it other than to get him to talk.
So it was true. The camera, the old type of camera and
He staged
everything?
everything. Yeah, he staged the whole thing. Did an amazing job.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't mean for it to go as viral as it did, you know.
Right. Okay. Wow.
But it's a pretty, you know, I always thought, God, this is.
I ran into the main guy tonight. Of all the shows that I do, I always ask that question, and I ran into the main guy tonight.
It's not real.
Really?
Okay. Debunked, and I hate it when these things just keep.
Oh man, I was wishing it was real. You know, I mean, I was just.
Well, if you look at it, it's definitely a ghillie suit.
Yeah.
But the way it moved is quite amazing.
Yeah, right? Exactly, and that's what I was going to tell you too.
The way he had the old '70s snowmobiles,
snowmobile, the truck, the old truck, yeah, all of that, man, and the kid playing
the whole thing. Explained how he did it all. Blah 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 blah. No, it's not real.
Wow. And you know what? A lot of people. Let me tell you this too, though, Doug. A lot of people don't want to believe it's a hoax and want to believe it's real, and they have a lot of good points too, like saying how did the first film not look like the second film where he's in the ghillie suit? They don't look nothing alike. The first film, the guy was jumping with all four limbs at the same time in the air, and on the second film where he debunked it, the guy wasn't running the same way as the first one. See what I'm saying? The guy was running more like a human, like the back foot, front foot, back foot, front foot. Whereas the first film, the person or creature or whatever he was jumping off of the ground with all four limbs at the same time. So his front limbs and back limbs were up on the air at the same time. Then he'd land again and jump again and so forth. So, I mean,
I would just say, believe what you want to believe, but I know I'm not going to waste any time thinking about it.
Right, okay.
I just have no time for hoaxes.
Okay.
They muddy the waters so bad, and they're so easy to do.
And so you visited, like, the place where it was done and everything, right? Like the land and all that.
No, the guy,
Okay.
It's not real.
Wow. It's not real. Well, you made it out to look very, very real. I'll tell you that.
No, I know he did a good job, but it's not real.
Wow.
And once again, if you want to and it's a conspiracy, that's fine.
Yeah.
You could be right. There could be that one little bit of chance. You could absolutely be right.
Man, I was hoping it was real.
No.
It looks so. I guess it was too good to be true. Yeah.
That's not it. Yeah, I would just put that out of your head.
Yeah.
The filmmaker. It's the filmmaker.
Yeah. Man, that's
like you said, he did an amazing job.
Yeah, he did. He sure did.
So, I could give an example. We had more time. I could give an example of something and show you a clip of footage. Everybody would think it was real. 100%.
Right.
And I could show you the testimony from the camera guy who's famous, who gives testimony and says it's real. Then I went and got the film, the actual film, which is IMAX film. Got a lab rented, spent all my own money. I must have spent this whole thing. Got the film developed, re-expose the film so I could dig into the blacks, blow it up, do all this with the film, the original. This only took me 20 years to get done. And it came out the guy with a baseball cap. You can see the insignia on his cap. It's not a Bigfoot. I was convinced it was.
Right.
I was really convinced because it's running, chasing caribou. It appears to be on all fours, just like the Gable film. I was convinced it was the real deal. I debunked it. Didn't want it. I actually didn't want to debunk it. I wanted it to show a Bigfoot. It looked like it had a baby on the back. It was a backpack.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's heartbreaking, but I'm always after the truth.
Right.
No matter how bad it was.
Exactly.
So I lost a lot of money on that gamble because I was gambling it was real.
Right.
Other people were betting against me, and there's no way. But when even the camera guy, before he died, on his deathbed,
wow,
did an interview. It was real. Nobody was over there across that river. If it's on the film, it's got to be a Bigfoot. There couldn't be anything else. And you look at the size of it, and on and on.
Wow.
The whole thing was an illusion because it was exposed wrong. It was exposed for the lighter caribou. They're kind of a light color. And so the black thing looked even blacker. And so when I dug back into the exposure and redeveloped the film again in the soup.
Mm-hmm.
Completely cleared that whole mystery up, and I was heartbroken. I didn't talk to anybody for 4 days. So I've even broken my own heart. I'm not worried about breaking your heart.
Right.
on the Gable film. You don't have any money invested.
I know. Yeah.
Think about taking $10,000 and going, poof, that was gone.
Right.
Right in the garbage. Trash. I just drove a 1975 Corvette over a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not fun.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, hey, Doug, I think we're about good on the time for the show. We're coming up on an hour and 40 minutes.
Sure,
well,
we
it was
can do
great.
it again.
I think
we'll do it again sometime.
Absolutely. I would love to have you back.
To you. I love your curiosity. Keep it going.
Thank you. Thank you.
Man, that is where it's all at.
Yes, thank you, Doug.
Keep your curiosity going and have good intentions with it.
Right.
Try to help people with your curiosity.
Right, exactly, yes.
That's the winning combo.
Yes.
So thank you.
Yes, thank you, Doug. It was an honor to have you here tonight, man. Thank you very
honor.
much. And we'll try to have you here again, okay? We'll have to. I'll have to reach you again and have you back on, man.
Yeah,
definitely.
no problem. And thank you, everybody in chat. All the amazing questions.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
All right,
thank you.
see you guys.
All right.
Signing off.
Thank you. All right, guys. That was it. The one and only Doug Hajicek was here tonight, and he honored us with his presence and knowledge. And yes, we're about to end the show. I just wanted to do a thank you, everybody, for the comments, and thank you. Saying it was a great show. Thank you. I appreciate you. Joe from Hellbent Holler, C Brewer, thank you. Man of Light, thank you. Lori Barnes, thank you for saying it was an awesome show, which I agree. I think it really was. And I just want to say, also I wanted to do a special shout out. I was trying to do it in the beginning, but it didn't work out, so I left it for the end. I want you guys to kind of reach out to a buddy of mine. He has his own. He's a real good buddy of mine. We talk, and it's a special shout out I'm doing for him. He has a new group, and it's kind of small right now. His name is Greg Garachi, and he's the guy that was here tonight. He's let me see where he's at. Let me see if he's still here. Man of Light. Yeah, Man of Light. You guys, if y'all can go check out his Facebook group. It's called Bigfoot Truth on Facebook, and he has a YouTube channel, and it's called Man of Light. He does boots on the ground research, pictures, videos, all kinds of stuff on Bigfoot. If you guys can go by subscribing to his channel on YouTube and joining his Facebook group, which is the Bigfoot Truth. Yeah. And I promised him I was going to give him a special shout out tonight, and which I did. There you go, Greg. And I'll see you guys on the next podcast, which I'm thinking maybe next week, if not possibly till the following week. I'm kind of working on that right now, guys, so I can't really, say. But I hope you all enjoyed tonight's show, man, because this was a special show I had to give for you guys tonight, man. And Doug Hajicek, man, wow. I'm still, I'm still amazed on having him here tonight. How I pulled that off, and all of his great knowledge. He seems such a great guy, man. Down to earth. When I first started talking to him, I was like, wow, this dude is so down to earth, man. Because I thought he was going to be more, I'm too big for you. I don't want, it's going to be hard for me to go on your show or anything like that. No, it wouldn't. Not at all. It was like really easy. He's like, yeah, sure, man. When do you want to do it? So give me some dates. And I said, okay, I'll get back with you. Got him some dates. And he's like, yeah, sure. I'll do it, man. So, yeah. I'm glad you guys stuck around to the end. Thank you, Joe Doyle from Bent Holler. And Jesse, if she's there with you, bro. Lori Barnes, Man of Light, like I said. Okay, Nana, thank you all for being here tonight. You guys are what makes this show special. Thank you. And everybody else who watches it afterwards. Thank you in advance. Country Boy Cryptids, Chris Reeds, thank you, bro, for being here tonight, bro. And that's it, man. That's all I got for tonight, guys. It was such a great show with Doug Hajicek here. So, all right. That being said, I will see you guys on the next podcast live, which is Jesse's listening in. Okay, thanks, Joe. Which is next week. Hopefully, if not, then the following week, like I said. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you everybody in general. Just thank you everybody for your continued support, and thank you for all the congratulations yesterday on my or our 2-year anniversary, and for the Facebook group, and thank you for the subscribers, all you new subscribers. Thank you. We're like at 805 or 807, something like that right now. We're trying to get to 1,000. You guys already know. Please like, share, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and that's pretty much it, man. Thanks everybody for being here tonight and for showing up and showing support. Thank you once again, and I will see you guys later. Peace out. Carlito Castro signing out. See you guys later, man. Thank you. Bye. Hope you enjoyed the show. Bye.